This is what riding 241 miles taught me about depression and mental health. I never really thought I would be the guy to experience depression. And really, I never thought about me being someone who would have someone near to them and who I loved take their life. In 2024, my fiance's father took his life and it blindsided everybody. And obviously, flipped our world upside down. It was just a few months before we were getting married, and it changed everything. It obviously changed my wife's and her family's life. And for our marriage starting out with something that traumatic happening and devastating was and has been extremely difficult. And for me, I did start to experience depression. Life looked completely different than what we thought it was going to. We were going through things that we thought we would never go through, and so many other realities of something like that taking place were hitting me. And as someone who works at a church and is in youth ministry, this was also especially difficult because I'm someone who's supposed to always be good. I'm supposed to always be positive and smiling and helping other people. And yet I was quietly suffering. And it took me a while to realize that I was experiencing depression. And after sitting with that and wrestling with it and not loving where I was at, I was unmotivated. I didn't want to do the things that I love to do normally, mountain biking and running and just um, being outside and working out and exercising and moving my body. Um, I realized and I thought about setting a goal to really help me get out and do those things. And so I decided to tackle the local trail challenge here in Boise, Idaho, called the Boise Trail Challenge. And it's biking or running all of the lower foothills trails as well as up at Bogus Basin and a few other areas within 30 days. Um, Trained for it. Long story short, me and my buddy Tyler, we rode the challenge on our mountain bikes and we did it in 3.5 days. It's a 30-day challenge, so we got top 15. Our goal was 3 days. We had to take another half day to finish up, but it was incredible. And here are some lessons that it taught me. Uh, the biggest one is the importance of not giving up. That seems really simple, but so much of life and things learned through life are only realized when you don't give up. There can be things left on the table when you do give up on certain things. And for me, there was times, oftentimes in life, we give up when things are hard, right? And so doing this trail challenge, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And the first day we were 30 miles in. I really just 36 miles maybe. To me, at that point, that was the longest I had ever biked before. Mountain biked, not road biked, but on single track trails in the sun. And that was the longest I had biked. We still had like 60 mile or 50, maybe 40 miles to go for just that day. And then we had supposedly two more full days. And so at that point, I was wanting to quit. 35 miles in, a third of the way through the first day, wanting to quit. And didn't like my legs were hurting so bad, just like climbing so slow. It was hot out. I was just sweating, and my quads were cooked. Like I was really afraid that I just wasn't going to be able to ride anymore, and that as much as I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to finish. And so we stopped for lunch, and I just kept going, and I kept going, and it hurt, and I kept going, and it still hurt. But then there was moments, even that evening of the first day of us riding, I felt better actually, and I just never would have experienced that if I didn't give up. And there's something positive is not always promised on the other side of not giving up necessarily as far as your circumstances go. But I do think, given time, you will grow, you will be more resilient if you don't give up, and you will be better. And so, although you can't control external circumstances, when you don't give up, you grow, you get better, you change. And that is something that I experienced in this short uh, period of doing something really hard and suffering. But I've also started to experience that in my life, even with experiencing depression. Uh, Still getting out there, still giving each day my best, um, being okay with the bad days, and still fighting for having the good days. And um, I can confidently say now, even in my work, I was just wanting to give up everything. I wasn't passionate or motivated about anything. I wanted to run away. I wanted to just quit everything and leave, and not doing that, man, my work is so much better. My relationships are so much better. My drive and my determination has increased. My capacity has increased, and so that could all be encompassed by just not giving up and to keep going. A second thing that I learned in the trail challenge is that you don't know exactly when the tides will turn, but they will. Like I said, I felt terrible after like 35 miles. Um, that first night, we ended our second or our third segment of the first day with one of the hardest climbs. I think the hardest climb in Boise, 5 Mile Gulch. Horrible climb. Just really constant and steep and long. And surprisingly, I mean, it was really difficult, but I felt good. And I don't know exactly at what point in the day, but I went from feeling like quitting to like, wow, I could keep going, um, just gradually. And there's not a specific point, like I said, that I remember, but I did feel better. And I think when it comes to mental health and depression, uh, my counselor described it to me like this: life can be like driving through fog, or going through fog, and the end of being in the fog is there, but you just can't see it. And it could be really close, it could be further away, um, but it's eventually going to come. And um, I think that's really true with mental health and depression. Is knowing that it's going to end. Obviously, there's other circumstances, and I think when you're doing as much as you can for your well-being, um, there is an end, and that's the hope that I want to encourage people with too, is that there is an end. This is not all that you're gonna ever feel, and you may not know exactly when it's coming. You may not know exactly why things will shift, but they will. And that is motivation and as encouragement to keep going, with the awareness that, hey, maybe you're in the fog right now, but the tides will change, and you have to stay moving to exit that fog. And so don't stop, don't stay put, don't stay put for the storm to pass. Keep moving through it. And the third thing, and I'll stop at this one. One of them, I have a lot of takeaways, but the third one for this video is not doing life alone. And in the trail challenge, like I said, I did it with a buddy. His name's Tyler. He and I actually met in 8th grade and went to elementary and high school together. He since moved out to Boise after I did. And he's an amazing athlete. He's a pro triathlete. And we ran track together and cross country. But he's stronger than I am, and he's a stronger biker than I am. And I for sure I may not have finished, or it would have taken me way longer to finish had I not been with him. And there's so much value in doing things and doing life together with people, and to not do it alone. Isolation is not your friend. And while I like to train alone, to be honest, like for me, it's just my quality alone time. Doing hard things, it's amazing when you have people with you and community, and it makes the experience like amazing, but also it helps you to push through those moments. They encourage you, they challenge you. You can encourage them and challenge them. And my buddy Tyler, he would all the climbs, he'd be ahead of me. I'll just be chasing after him. And it was interesting, like I thought, hey, this will be a sweet time to catch up. We're spending like 72 hours together just riding. But there wasn't as much talking because we were just focused on riding and kind of quietly suffering. But there was this unspoken thing between us, like, we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep going. We never talked about quitting. And man, life is like that. You gotta have people in your life that are gonna encourage you, push you to keep going, even pull you along sometimes. Not gonna let you stay where you are, and not gonna let you quit. And so doing the trail challenge, it taught me that. It taught me these three things. I hope that they're helpful takeaways for you as I still apply them to my life and am reminded by them. Have to encourage myself to implement them and to believe them, but I believe that they're true. And so, yeah, that is the heart of this channel. Is to talk about these kinds of things and to be a source of inspiration, encouragement, as well as hopefully some entertaining content as well for biking and running. So that's 3 lessons I got from riding 241 miles in the Boise Trail Challenge. Until next time, watch your noggin and see you in the next video.